So you found me. I guess it worked. Although it's yet to be seen whether your brain can even retain memories from this kind of experience. But thank you for responding to my call for help. But before that ask, let me tell you the saddest and most miraculous story of how I came not to be. Because I don't actually exist.
Oh my gosh. Nice one.
ABC, always be clipping. You've probably heard the famous Rumble expression. Well, there's a very good reason for it. Because if a clip isn't clipped, then it's almost as if it never happened. And that moment in time will be lost to the void. Many things end up here. It's just like a lower level space between spaces, which is where we are now. It's not where I live though. It's just the easiest place for me to get to. Still with great difficulty. But back to that lost moment. I mean, sure, you'll remember it and maybe your opponent for so long, but eventually that memory will dissipate and disappear. You need an outside observer to see that moment for it to be cemented via a clip. It's kind of like, you know how when you're learning Rumble, the pose ghost is really terrible, so you need someone else to help you see the moves and then you learn them quicker? I don't even know if that's a good comparison, but let's continue. Since you found your way here, you're already part of the course, so forgive me if I'm telling you what you already know. Let's lay down some fundamental truths about our world. In Rumble, if you hit a move crazy enough, it'll unlock more insight about the nature of all things, and give you abilities, I guess you could call it. But so our reality remains in balance. Every power comes with a price. A cost far higher than you might have been willing to pay had you known. And we also know, from repeated exposure to such moves like the FGFA, the power and the price stack. So in the case of someone who repeatedly ascends, they can get Essentia, a condition coined by Deuteriolon. Speaking of a sufferer of which, there's Shoeless now. Yeah, I get that that's a confusing thing to say. Go back to the entry. Just remember, he exists, I don't. Let us go back to the concept of clipping. Mabel! Mabel! That's Ulvac's cat. Dang, I really should have thought about having a black cat in a black void. Probably best we don't use her for the metaphor anyway. If you do clip, there is a point in time when you do not know whether you successfully clipped or not. And it's not an either-or situation. It both exists and doesn't exist until the black box is open and the observer can see which one happens and the superposition collapses. And if your clip happens to be the one that failed, well, it's a real Schrodinger of a situation. So let me get to the tragedy of the 4 seconds lost to the void.
Whoa! Whoa!
Do you like that bit of water bending?
Oh, nice.
I'm just gonna let this session I played with Kadra play out. We'll listen carefully. Oh, no, it wasn't lean back enough. Because in this session, I hit something that I have never hit before. And I never hit again. It was so precise and fine-tuned. It was kind of crazy. What you're watching right now isn't that clip. You just gotta know that I clip for about a minute long. And when something cool happens, I hit my clip key button.
Ooh, did that one
Oh,
fly?
I grabbed it. Nice.
Oh no.
Oh, I was about to steal that from you. You're lucky.
This fight was about a month after the Flick video came out. So I was just looking for other cool Flick plays like this kind of basic alley-oop and Kadra punishing himself into that ball. And so I hit my clip key right now. The crazy move happened within this 4-second gap.
Oh no!
Did you see that? Did you see that?
I did. Oh,
Again!
Oh my god.
no fucking way.
He's doing it.
Bro, that was more than full Flick ascension.
That was something else.
Your structure broke, so you took mine.
That move, if clipped, would have been called the mobius shift.
Nice grab.
It impressed us both. But how ironic that I was the one to tell Kadra to ABC, when in this case, he reminded me and I did it too late.
I recovered.
Bro, you gotta clip that.
I do have.
Yeah, like I broke your cube with my wall, and then so you decided to grab my wall and
I know.
return
Let
it to me.
me see. I have on clipping stuff. What is my clip button?
Oh, it's like that.
Sunshine in your eyes.
This is the paused last frame of that video. This is my setting in OBS. This is the file size of that clip, which is nowhere near the limit, so I don't know why it stopped recording early. This is the time the previous clip started, and this is the time the second clip started. Had I just clipped a little later the first time or a little sooner the second, had OBS recorded that extra 4 seconds that I had set, the Mobius strip would have existed. But when I opened that box, I was crushed because it didn't. That's how a beautiful moment is lost to the void forever. Always be clipping. Don't make the mistake that I made. Or should I say, Shoeless made. But we'll get to that. Let me show you some clips to help you imagine what could have been. Here, I catch TRX's wall, and it destroys my cube, and I land to hit him. But that's kind of just a failed Weaver of Space.
What was that? Weaver of Space?
I think that partial Weaver
I think
of Space,
everyone would be higher.
right? I mean, if you hit one of them because the other broke, I'd consider that a partial.
Or perhaps you might even imagine this kind of clip, where I'm not going for a Weaver of Space. I just go for a perfect dismount to fall and catch the low anti-air that wasn't going to hit me, and use it against Windette for some poetic
That's
justice.
honestly my best Shoeless counter. It's just because he cannot resist going for the thing. Never mind. I've seen what it looks like on the other end.
I don't even know what to call this.
I'm leaving. You could
Sorry, I just mute to talk to my mother for a minute, and I come back and I hear.
Tell your mom. Tell your
Yeah,
mom
sorry.
just what happened.
The closest comparison I've seen would be this clip by Bobo, who magnificently trades his wall for a bowl.
Oh no! Oh, it was so cool! Oh, it was so cool! No! Oh no! Oh no!
Although special on its own right, but even that still doesn't give you the full picture of the Mobius shift. It's so special its name doesn't even stay consistent. Mobius switch was beautiful. If you perfectly rise above anti-air incoming with a single bump to perfectly have their structure destroy yours only to catch theirs still on the correct line to strike, that is the Mobius switch. 4 seconds, and it was gone forever. But not yet, because we hadn't opened the box. So currently it was in a state of simultaneously existing and not existing. Let me explain the consequences of such a move if it had been clipped. Temporarily, you could ascend to be a 4-dimensional being. Now, the 4th dimension, people talk about time. That's not that. This is the spatial 4th dimension. Much like you can see the whole of a flat shape as a 3-dimensional being, if you're a 4-dimensional being, you could see the entirety of a 3-dimensional space. Now, what does that mean in real terms? It means Shoeless would have just been able to see if you skipped his Patreon segments, and it would have hurt his feelings. And that's also kind of the cost as well. Now, this move is in itself insanely hard to clip, because another property of imagining a 3D object coming into a 2D plane of existence is if a sphere goes through a piece of paper in a flatland, the 2D object could never see the sphere, they just see an intersection of it. In the same way, if a 4-dimensional being comes into our 3D reality, you would see their 3-dimensional intersection folding through ours. Now, this is a temporary ability that will come and go, but it means if you try and hit a clip like this, and you attain that power in that moment, for a brief moment when the clip neither exists and does exist, then your opponent might just phase through the attack, and it might not work. That's exactly what happened with TRX here.
Ball doesn't make the whole thing a makeshift. Oh wait, no!
You went inside it as well, and I...
Weirdly enough, I didn't even think that was a Mobius shift, but still created 4th dimensional shenanigans. Now, missing that 4 seconds could have been the end of the story. Should have been the end of the story. But I may have lied to you, because 20 minutes after that 4-second gap, this happened.
Oh, went
Too short for that.
over your head. Get around you.
I have no idea. I think it was because of the knockback from the explosion.
I did it again! I did it again! Okay, I need to clip this. I need to make sure this actually got clipped. Oh my god.
No,
Now, this is where we have to get metaphysical. Because, as you can imagine, it's quite hard to explain why you don't exist. For Shoeless, after the box was opened and it was revealed that the clip did not exist, he would continue on and hit the clip anyway, attaining the power of the mobius switch, temporarily granting him 4-dimensional properties, which I don't think is used. However, there was also the uncertainty that existed, a situation before opening the box in which the clip did and did not exist. And so, whilst in the possibility of having the 4th-dimensional state, I hit it again. And that part of me that never existed but also did rose to be a 5th-dimensional being. And so 2 things are now paradoxically true. I can see all space, all spaces. I might know everything, but I also don't even exist. I don't think I'm even canon, which might be disappointing to some. I literally cannot have bearing on any of the stories that happen. And ironically, all I am is the outside observer that I never had for that clip. I'm not sure if that's just the price of being a 5th-dimensional being means that I can't really exist in base reality at all. It's just due to the convoluted nature of how I came to not be. So my presence here is very fleeting, but it's important. I have an end goal for Shoeless, as much as he might disagree. And that involves accelerating the timeline in which Rumble becomes mainstream. But I can't really interact with your world to make it happen. So I've never done this and it hurts me to do so, but I'm gonna need to ask you to do something. I told you not to subscribe, I only ever asked you to do Rumble, but now I'm gonna have to ask you for your help. The division between me and Shoeless is gonna get too confusing here, so I'm just gonna say I've only been able to exist through the generosity of others, like the Patreon bosses who'd made it possible to spend 6 months working on a 2-hour film. And now they seem to be multiplying because Grand's madness has caught on, which makes it difficult when I'm trying to finalize their credit to go in this video. But really, it's humbling to think that anyone would give anything, no matter the price. I don't expect any money at all. You should save it, honestly. And I'm so humbled by people who just show their support in so many other ways, by being active in the Discord or not subscribing, but I guess rewatching the videos and enjoying them. But yes, the epic 2-and-a-bit-hour film is on the cusp of release. But it's a terrifying thought that the success of that, and tied with it how many people could be potentially brought into the game we love, is all determined by a single magical picture called a thumbnail and a little string of spell words called the title. I got very lucky twice, and I am not a betting man, and I don't want to put it just up to the algorithm again for a 3rd time. So I've come up with a plan, a scheme that I think will work with just maybe 50 people, but the more the better, to get something snowballing and take advantage of... Run out of time, I didn't even get to talk about gate theory. Anyway, if you're just here for the journey, enjoy the videos. Thank you, you've already done enough. If you want to stay connected and potentially do stuff to help, well then, I made a secret place where we can always chat, even if I come and go out of your reality. And the password? It's just my name, without spaces. If you can remember it, that is. You should already know where to find it. Oh yeah, and since I can see all spaces as well, I guess, sorry to you who are obsessing over random strings of stock footage. You might have gotten pretty close to just brute force guessing. I mean, who knows? Maybe your sleuthing will become a self-fulfilling prophecy, and you do find something. For those who want to be part of the core team, our first order of business is brainstorm some ideas of what we could do to spread the word of the film. Now, I know there's a lot that I or Shoeless could do, ideas of shorts, of trailers, whatever. This is more about ideas of what individual people could do together as a group to spread the word on the internet. Now, this plan will only work if the video is a 10 out of 10. So if we get to that release and it's just a 9, or heaven forbid, an IGN 7 out of 10, that's okay, you can opt out. But hoping that it is something special. And I think it is, because it's not just my story, it's Rumble's story. After its release, what can we do to get attention out there more than just relying on the algorithm? How do we find people who we think will enjoy the film? We don't want to cast the net as wide as possible. We just want to find the individuals who might enjoy it. Needless to say, we need to do it in an ethical, non-bot, spammy way, because I'm 100% against that. It would only hurt the cause. And ultimately, if my theory proves true that it just takes 50 people minimum's focused effort to do this, and we can accelerate the timeline of Rumble becoming mainstream, which is part of the dream. Full disclosure, it will allow me to make more videos in the future, and hopefully not do the other work I do ever again so I can just focus on Rumble. That is a personal benefit, but hopefully it's a win for all as a rising tide lifts all boats. More people enjoying Rumble means more opportunities for more creators to get into the space, and then hopefully, ideally, I don't have to make videos anymore. If you're this far, you're probably already sold on why we want to see this game succeed. And look, if it doesn't work, I guess I never really did exist, did I? But yes, I need to leave, so I'll see you soon.